Greetings friends, jawlesspaul here. I've been playing a lot of Have a Nice Death recently, and I've learned a few things that I wanted to share with you all. Here are 7 quick tips that aren't super obvious when you start playing the game. 1. There are secret rooms. Be on the lookout for little lock symbols popping up in some areas. To open it, you will need to use an anima by the wall where the little symbol appeared. This will lead to an upgrade or resource. So far I've seen a weapon, prismium, gold, and 2 soulary deposits behind these doors. I've started keeping at least 1 anima on reserve in case I see a secret door. 2. Maybe you figured this one out quicker than I did, but I was confused about the difference between cloak and spells. And how can you tell which is which? When you get a reward, it will have a color, which indicates its rarity. A more rare item typically is going to be stronger, but sometimes that doesn't exactly work out that way. It depends on the playstyle you enjoy. Both spells and cloak items have rarity, so that's not how you can tell. You can tell whether an item is a cloak or spell with a little symbol in the top right on the item. If it's a book, that means that it's a spell, which means it costs mana, doesn't typically have a cooldown, and the green cards will upgrade it. If the symbol is a cloak, that means that it won't cost mana and instead will have a cooldown, and the red cards that talk about a cloak will upgrade it. I've noticed the red cards often improve cloak items and the scythe. Also, you can keep a 3rd item in your inventory. You can't use the item, but you can sell it in the shop for soulary. I find it's a good idea to pick up rare items even if I don't know I'll use it, just so I can get the soulary from them. 3. The choices given at the end of each stage are not very clear, so I'll lay them out for you. Some of them are pretty self-explanatory, like shop or Thanager office or control room. And then some options might say prismium, but you might find a weapon or a health container. It seems like it gives a higher chance of finding that item, but doesn't necessarily guarantee it. For example, I went to this Vitamin Mana department zone, but managed to find a weapon and a T OSHA upgrade, as well as a mana upgrade. So maybe the options just guarantee one type of reward, but you can get other upgrades there as well. Finally, you have hazardous floor and vault. Hazardous floor means that there might be more arena battles where you can't leave until you defeat the enemies, while vault has a slightly higher chance to find high rarity rewards, like higher rarity cloak items and spells, and maybe prismium as well. I wanted to just stop, pause for a second, and ask you to boop the like button for me. That helps the video out a ton, and I really appreciate it. Thanks. Let's continue. 4. The control room is possibly the most important room, and you definitely want to go there as soon as it shows up, provided you have any soulary or prismium saved. It has 2 different possible upgrades. You can talk to the big cauldron guy and upgrade your scythe, cloak item, and spells with soulary or prismium, or you can talk to the other guy and he will give you a chance to change your scythe to a different form with prismium. Eventually, you'll even be able to change that to an entirely different item, but that is an unlock that you find later in the game. 5. Speaking of the control room, don't neglect to upgrade your scythe. In the control room, you'll have the chance to upgrade your scythe or even replace it with different variations, including a scythe on a string, 2 fast scythe blades, etc. The regular scythe can actually be upgraded, and upgrading it 3 times gives it a piercing projectile, and this makes the scythe so much better. Finally, I recommend fighting the Thanagers as often as possible. They give a reward of soulary and will give you a T OSHA card reward as well. These cards are some of the most powerful upgrades in the game, so don't neglect them. You also want to try to go down one path primarily. If you find certain ones you always want to take, like Infuse Bleed is one you always want to take no matter what you're doing. But go down, I would recommend looking at going down one of the paths primarily, and then if you find a good card from another tree, great, but try to focus on one tree at a time. Finally, recent updates to the game have improved many of the weapons and spells that seemed weak before. Be sure to give them a try and upgrade them in the control room. Alright, what are some of your tips for the game? Leave a comment below and let us know. That about wraps it up, friends. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.